Hi everybody, welcome back to Battlefield, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. This video is for Battlefield players who played Battlefield 4, Battlefield 5, Battlefield 1, Battlefield 3, Bad Company, all that lot of stuff, but you skipped Battlefield 2042, probably for the reasons that I did to start off with. You know, you saw the incredibly bad state the game was in at launch. Maybe you even played the beta like I did and thought, no, this is rubbish. I'm not giving EA any money, especially I'm not giving them £70 to play the game in the state it is. Now, we've come a long way since launch. It's much better, and so this is like an induction, if you like, a refresher, so you know what to expect when you jump in, the things to look out for, the pitfalls, and sort of a few hints and tips along the way. This video also might be useful to new players who are new to Battlefield. So Battlefield 2042 is set in the future, obviously, and one of the changes is, we kind of saw this coming with Battlefield 5, is you play as a specialist, and that you can see them all here, and basically these are called no-pats, and they're mercenaries for hire, so there are no sort of goodies and baddies. You don't play as like Russians and Americans. You just play, everybody plays as the no-pat or the mercenary of their choice on each side. But you just happen to have been hired by the Russians or the Americans, depending on which side you're on. And each specialist or each no-pat has their own ability and their own gadgets as well. They're still classed as like assault, engineer, and support. But at the moment, you can select any weapon for any specialist, which is a bit different from previous Battlefield games. So, for example, Sundance, who is an assault character who has a wingsuit, she can carry an assault rifle, she can carry a sniper rifle, an SMG, or a DMR. Now, that will be changing as Season 2 or maybe Season 3 comes in. So by the time you come to watch this video, the different specialists may be tied to the guns that their particular class, so the assault class, has, like it used to be in older Battlefields, Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5, etc. So that's the first thing to watch out for. So game modes, what do you get? Well, there's no campaign, unfortunately, but we do have Conquest, which you'll be familiar with, and there's some nice tutorials there as well. And we do have Breakthrough. So Breakthrough is basically operations from Battlefield 1, where one team's attacking, one team's defending, and you have to capture a couple of objectives and then you move forward. Capture another couple of objectives and you move forward. Or defending, basically you've got to stop them coming through. I think Breakthrough and Conquest can be up to 128 players on PC and next-gen consoles, and they're limited to 64 players on last-gen. Rush is here. This may well be a time-limited event, so watch out. That tends to be 32 players, but it's traditional Rush. You know, take the Omicron stations and blow them up or defend them, and you kind of go on from there. Portal, we're going to talk about a little bit more about in a moment, which is very exciting. Portal is one of the best things about Battlefield 2042, and we have Hazard Zone. So Hazard Zone, again, watch the tutorial. This is a little bit like Plunder from Call of Duty Warzone. So you spawn in and you've got to run around picking up these data cards, and then you have to extract them. So it's not really about PvP purely, it's PvP and PvE, because there's AI running around and doing things. Now, a big change in the game modes is the fact that we now have bots. Now stop. Don't click away. Don't think that bots play in Battlefield 2042 isn't any good, because I tell you, it is really good. The bots you play with and play against in Battlefield 2042 will give the average Battlefield player, or the returning Battlefield player who's a little bit rusty, plenty of practice and some really good gameplay experiences. So don't poo-poo the idea of playing Conquest solo or co-op, where it's you with 60, well, I think they can have up to 60 bots on a server running around playing Battlefield. It's really good. And remember, bots play the objective. You know, they don't sit at the back of the map with a sniper trying to take people out and ruining people's games. You know, they're not amazing in the helicopters running around. They play the objective, and you can get to know the maps, you can get to know the guns, and it's very good indeed. So at the moment we've got Stranded Conquest as a picked out map because it's the new map. By the time you watch this video, that might not be there. So on that particular selection, it just goes to Conquest all the time. Normal Conquest goes through the several maps that are available. Right, let's go down and talk about Portal just for a second. So when you go into Portal, you've got these little options down here, and you've got Browse. But Host, I think, is really where the fun is. So what I'll do in the description below this video, I'll put codes in, okay? And these codes you can enter here. See where it says experience code? You can enter these codes, and they will let you play. Whoops, press the wrong button. What happened there? They will let you play one of these experiences that I've created, single player. So within the Portal game mode, we have Battlefield 2042 maps, we have Battlefield 2042 specialists, we have Battlefield 3 maps, only two unfortunately, and Battlefield 3 soldiers, we have Battlefield Bad Company 2 maps, and Battlefield Bad Company 2 soldiers, and we have Battlefield 1942 maps, 2 of them, El Alamein and Battle of the Bulge, and Battlefield 1942 soldiers. So what I've done is I've put together these experiences where you will play with bots, so you can experience these maps because they've been remastered and they're really, really good fun. So you can play Bad Company 2 Rush if you want. You tend to be the attackers on Rush. Battlefield 1942 Conquest, highly recommend that. That's great fun. I think you play as the British in that one against the Germans. Battlefield 1942, where's the other one? Rush versus AI bots. What I've done with the rushes, I've skewed the team so there's more attacking teams on your side, so you can really bulldoze through and have a great experience. You don't tend to get locked in that stalemate that you often do get in Rush. And I tell you what, I'll even include the code for my zombies mode. Where's my zombie mode? Welcome to Rush versus AI bots. Where's the zombie mode? There we go. So it's in this zombies mode, it's Rush, but it's you playing as a Battlefield 3 soldier, so it's like Modern Warfare soldier, and you've got to attack. So I think there's 10 of you in your team, you and a few friendly bots, against zombies. Now, they're not real zombies, they're just World War II German soldiers, but they're only equipped with knives, and there's loads of them, and they can run fast. The advantage you have is you've got infinite ammo, and you've got a little bit more health, and your health regen is a bit faster. So you've got to play Rush against zombies. It's great fun. Really, really good fun. So that's kind of Portal. Now, you can also look in Portal. You've got the official experiences that you can look at. But the problem with these is they wait for players. They don't tend to have bots in them. And then you have custom experiences, which you can have a look at. But for me, I would say to start off with, play my codes, because they're single-player codes. There is also the browser, so you can look through and you can see which ones have got people in. Unfortunately, lots of the Portal stuff, there's just not many people playing it, so you're better off playing either normal Battlefield 2042 or playing, single player with bots. Right, so we mentioned the fact that Conquest, you can jump into a game of multiplayer or you can jump into solo, but let's talk about the specialists, because they're slightly different with the way things work now, especially when it comes to loadouts and weapons. So let us go to loadouts. So within each class, so you've got assault, medic, engineer and snipers, you have the type, and so you have this loadout that you can then change. So if you look at the bottom of the screen, so my assault type loadout, we've got primary is M5A3, which is semi-auto, MP28, which is basically a pistol with a stock on. I've got the recoilless rocket launcher, and I've got the frag. And what I can do is I can go in, I can select that and change it to something else. So my assault loadout could in fact instead be a shotgun. And when you go into game, you can choose the different loadouts that way. Now, let's go on to weapons. So weapons, attachments are done differently this time. So normally in like Battlefield 4, Battlefield 5, Battlefield 3, we had attachments that you would attach on. You would unlock an attachment, wouldn't you? And then you would put it onto a particular gun, and you would use that attachment in the game. Battlefield 1 was a bit different in the fact that you couldn't choose the attachments. You just had different guns. So in Battlefield 2042, we have something called the Plus system. And I'm going to be talking about controller here. So the Plus system allows you to change attachments on the fly while you're in game. And I poo-pooed it a bit in the beta, but actually when you get used to it, it's very, very powerful indeed. So what you can see here, so this is my assault rifle, the M5A3, and if you look at the sort of the top leg of the plus, you can see I've got a red dot, I've got a 2 times, if we jump onto it, we've got a 2 times, and I've got a 1.25 to 4.5 times. So within game, all I have to do is press and hold the top left shoulder button, and then press, it would be Y on Xbox, triangle on PlayStation, and just tap that, and I can cycle through the different attachments in game. So I can swap from a close range red dot to a long range 4.5 times scope, or I can change my magazine. So I've got normal mags, I've got high power long distance mags, and I've got close combat mags. So I could change that. I can change my muzzle brake sort of for long distance accuracy for a suppressor if I wanted to do a bit of CQB, close quarters combat, and didn't want people to know where I was on the minimap. I've got a flashlight for if it's dark, or I could put on a light grip for low recoil, or if I really want to hit some long distance shots, I can go to the bipod and go prone, and I'll pop a bipod out. So it means my assault rifle can go from being almost like an SMG up close using something like the red dot and the recoilless bullets, to a long range beast with a big long scope, a bipod, and a muzzle brake to reduce recoil. And once you get used to it, it's very, very good. The only thing you've got to make sure you do is don't try and use it when you're in a dangerous situation. The most common thing you'll probably change is the scope. So all you do is you press and hold the top left shoulder button, tap Y on Xbox, triangle on PlayStation a couple of times, and you can change it over. So it's very, very powerful. Now what happens is, as you use the gun and as you play the game, you'll unlock more attachments, as you would expect, just as the way as you play the game you unlock more weapons. And so as you unlock more weapons and or you unlock more attachments, you come into the weapons section, and then you can change the plus system as you go on that way. We've also got gear, so you can choose what throwable. So say we want to go over to the smoke grenade, I select that, and it says, okay, so which loadout do you want to change, and we can choose to change that. This can be a bit confusing to start off with. So we've got like the ammo crate, right? Who do we want to give the ammo crate to? And you can put that on there, the different gadgets that obviously you unlock as you are going along. Now let's talk about the specialists now, because they can make a big difference. So best thing to do is just watch this screen, and then if you select a particular specialist, they'll have, let's have a look. Yeah, so Sundance, for example, she's classed as an assault character. She comes with the special grenade. So if you press X on Xbox or square on PlayStation, you can see what her special gadget does. So it does that. And then her ability, if you like, is she has a wingsuit, so she can fly around the map. Great fun. Dozer, he has a ballistic shield, so a bit like Rainbow Six Siege sort of style. And his ability is that he's got blast resistance. McKay, he's got the grappling hook. There he goes. And he's nimble, so he can move faster when aiming and on zip lines. You've got Irish. Irish is a good one to start off with, because he has this fortification system where you can put down these barriers and you can pick them up and move them. But he has additional armour and he recovers more armour, so he's less likely to get zapped by explosives. Boris, he can put down a sentry gun, which is useful, and it's autonomous, and when he's near sentry guns they work better. Liz, she what does she has? A player controlled anti-tank thing. I think this, this is the camera gun, isn't it? Camera missile. Very cool. I don't think that one can be blocked either. And she automatically reveals nearby enemy vehicles that are damaged or hacked. Casper, he has a movement sensor so that you can tell when people are around him, and then he has the recon drone, and so on and so forth. So just go through them and look at the their special gadget and think, right, do I want to give that a go? And give it a go anyway. But remember, any of them can have any weapons loadout. So Angel, for example, here, who is a in fact, let's go to a classic one. So Rao, who's basically a sniper, So he's got a cyber warfare suite. What we could do, he can have an assault loadout. Or Casper actually, he's a traditional looking sniper, isn't he, with his ghillie suit. Well, you can give him an SMG. You can really mix and match. As I say, what might happen is by the time you watch this video, that may well have been stopped, and Casper might just be locked to using DMRs and sniper rifles. But when that happens, it won't be that bad, and it's probably going to be a good move, because one of the things that happens at the moment is that most people will pick a meta loadout, so certain guns tend to work better all the time, don't they? And it means that everybody is using those guns, where in the old days in Battlefield, where a medic had to use, say, an SMG, like in Battlefield 5, well, the medics had to. If you wanted to be a medic, you did, and to help other people, you would revive people and throw bandages around. An engineer had to use in Battlefield 4. Engineers uses PDWs, didn't they, or marksman rifles? You couldn't be running around with an assault rifle or a sniper. So I don't think it's a bad thing to lock the classes down to specific specialists. But it's not a terrible thing, the fact that you can equip any weapon either. Just makes it a bit like Call of Duty. And to be honest, Battlefield 2042, it plays a little bit like Call of Duty. Okay, so I think we've covered all the basics. Again, I'll stress again, jump in and play Conquest solo or co-op against bots. You'll have a lot of fun. And what we're going to do now is we're going to do just that, because I just want to talk a little bit about the controls, because they have changed, especially if you haven't played Battlefield since Battlefield 1 or Battlefield 4. They've changed quite a lot. So while we're waiting for this to load, I'll just talk about sort of my experiences. So when Battlefield... So I really like Battlefield 4. I really, really like Battlefield 1. Battlefield 5 was a bit of a disappointment, but looking back, I don't think we really understood how good Battlefield 5 was. It wasn't that bad, but it didn't have enough content. It all went a bit woke and all that sort of stuff, didn't it? But we were all looking for Battlefield 2042, because the idea was it was kind of moving back to that modern warfare era of troops, slightly in the future, but it's still modern warfare sort of thing. And obviously then we had the beta, which for me I thought was a complete disaster. I was playing it on I might have been playing it on my Xbox Series S actually, so it's a next gen console, and the graphics I thought looked worse than the PlayStation 4 graphics. I thought occasionally it looked more like an Xbox 360 game, and the argument that DICE gave was the fact that in order to sustain 128 player lobbies, they had to dumb down the graphics so the servers could keep up, and it's like, well, let's just go back to 64 players then. So it was the first Battlefield game in a long time where it's like, I'm not pre-ordering this, I'm not playing it, this is terrible. And then it got released and people were basically repeating that. But they've improved the game all the way through. And now we've got to a point where it is very playable. It's still not a complete game. It's still not Battlefield 4. It's still not Battlefield 1. It's still probably not even Battlefield 5. But it is an awful lot of fun. Okay, so here we are.
Seismic activity in British Columbia has damaged the Canadian-U.S. research facility base.
Blah, blah, blah.
A landslide has exposed the interior and damaged the surrounding area. The Russians wrongly allege that this has revealed a military weapon and are deploying forces onto Canadian soil to secure it. Not on my watch. Let's send Ivan home.
Right. Okay. So this is a beautiful map. Actually, this reminds me of some of the mountainous maps in Battlefield 4 and even Battlefield 1 actually. So here we go. So we're just going to deploy again. At the beginning, you could select a vehicle if you wanted to, but I'm not going to, because I want to show you some changes in the controls. Here we go. Nice little cinematics to take us in. Yeah, okay, here we go. So, in fact, tell you what, let's just redeploy. And before we go in, I'll just show you how I customize my loadout. So at this point, we can press X on Xbox or square on PlayStation, and I could go left or right on my D-pad to choose a different specialist. So we could choose, say, Sundance. And then using LB or RB, so the top shoulder buttons, I can go over here and choose a different loadout. So I could just go to this and go up and down on my D-pad just to choose a complete different loadout. Or I could go into that particular loadout and change it. So I'm going to change it to my assault weapon. and we're going to come in, and then we're going to spawn in back here. Okay, so we've spawned in, and the first thing, let's talk about the plus control system. So this is how we change attachments on the fly. So if you press and hold the left shoulder button, it will bring it up like that, and keep it held, and then you'll see in the middle it says Y, X, B and A. This is how we change the attachments that we've added to the gun. So if I press Y, or that would be triangle on PlayStation, I can just cycle through the different scopes that I want to put on. Can't go down or up, it's always up, and we cycle through. And then if I press B, or that would be circle on PlayStation, I can change my magazine. And then maybe down the bottom I can press A, let's put a little grip on it, and then I can press X, or that would be square on PlayStation, and we could put a muzzle brake on. So basically I've made my gun a little bit more, it should have less recoil on fully auto. Now to change the fire mode, if you've got a weapon that can change the fire mode, aim down sight and then press down on your D-pad, and that will change to single fire. Press down again, multi-fire. While you're not aimed down sight, if you've got a gun that has a grenade launcher, you press down on the D-pad and it'll make the noob tube available to you as you go along. Lots of others, this is similar, so press Y or triangle to change to your secondary. And this is where things start to get a little bit different with things like explosives. So to throw a grenade, you've got to press up on your D-pad to select the grenade first, then you press right trigger. Alright, so that's a bit different. And then we can just press Y to go back to our guns who haven't thrown the grenade. To get out your launcher, or what would be in the launcher bit, we press right on the D-pad. And that comes out like that. We get our gun out again. And our little specialist gadget, in this case Sundance has these multi grenades, we will press left on the D-pad. Again, we can change to our gun to change it back that way. Now, let's talk about the pinging. So to ping enemies, there's a few things you can do. So if you tap on the top right shoulder button, that will put a normal ping in. That kind of says, look, let's go here. If you ping while exactly over an enemy, it will say, look, there's a jet there, there's a tank there, there's a soldier there. But you'll notice that it doesn't track the enemy, it just leaves it in space. So if you ping it again, they'll disappear. There we go, so we've made them disappear. Probably the more common type of ping you'll do, though, is you use the double tap. So double tap, and that will just give you a straight danger ping. And that's the fastest one to do. Because if you see an enemy and you just single ping, you might well just give people, you know, a green one, and you don't want that. Whereas if you see an enemy and do a double ping, you're saying there's enemies there, and people will understand that, which I think is the best way to go. Now, let's talk about the common rows. So if you press and hold the top right shoulder button, you bring up the common rows. This is very powerful. So if you're the squad leader, you can place orders. So if you put an order over a flag that hasn't been captured yet, it'll tell your squad to take it. If you put a order over a flag that has been captured, it'll tell your squad to defend it. If you're not a squad leader and your squad leader isn't giving you orders, if you ask for an order and he doesn't give any orders within a couple of minutes, you'll then become the squad leader. You've also got the normal things, thank you, I need picking up in a vehicle, I need healing, I need ammo, so that puts the icons above your head, so hopefully one of the support players will help you. But also, if you go up, you have the call-ins, and these are very powerful. So throughout the game, depending on how many have been called in, you can call in. There's a wheeled tank. We've got a proper tank. We've got hovercrafts. We've got recon, and we've got the little ranger dog. So we can press A. That would be X on Xbox. Press right trigger, and you'll get a little friend to come in and help you. So every now and again, when you're not in a combat situation, just press and hold the top right shoulder button and go to the call-ins and see what's available, and then you can just drop something in. And this guy's great. There he goes. Okay, so that is obviously you've got your map you can look at like that way, and that's really everything. And the thing I would say is try out the different specialists, because they've got all different cool stuff. And let me finish off by showing you what Sundance can do. So here we go. Just using left stick to fly around, right stick to kind of look around. This is how you can do very, very quick flank. So there we go, Battlefield 2042. some hints and tips. Hopefully find them useful. If you have it, like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe. And I will, of course, see you again soon.